Alright everyone, welcome to the second part of this particular video where we actually created this particular sales and marketing call center. So over here, if I select a particular call agent, we have it highlighted here. Check it again. So we have this one highlighted because it actually corresponded to what we selected here, and it's going to filter everything right here for us. So now here is actually the success rate. Out of 10,000 calls, it has 89.9% success rate right here. And over here, those are the product discussed during the calls. Over here, those are the reason why calls were abandoned, and we have the monthly trend for this particular person selected. Even though if I change it right now, this is going to change. So we highlighted the max and the mean calls, the months where he has the minimum calls and the maximum calls, and we can use the filter to filter the whole dashboard, and the whole dashboard will be filtered based on the month we have selected from here, right? So over here we can actually choose a map, or we try to use this particular chart to show the state where calls are coming from, and here shows us the top 5% contribution to our calls, like the top 5 states where our calls are coming from, right? So one of the beautiful part is that you can actually use this particular button to unfilter if you have actually choose a particular filter and you don't want to filter your dashboard again, right? So what we have just done is to actually create a sketch that guides us on how the dashboard layout should look like. Just go ahead and download the dataset we have used and read through the PDF to understand what exactly we're about to get into before you follow me step by step. Don't forget to watch the first video and actually look at what we have done in the first video before you continue from here. So, see you in the class. So let's get this one here, duplicate. Let's go here, format. So let's do 0.4 by 3.45. So something like this is going to give us what we want. So now we have to change the color. Let's go over here. So I think I'm going to go with this color here. So once I have this now, just create a little space for it. So I'm going to hold my control key, select this particular one, and I'm going to float it to the left hand corner. So we have this, right? So duplicate it and keep this one around here. Hold your control key. Now float it to the left hand corner again. So here we go. We have this. All right. What we want to show here now on this particular first one is going to be the average customer rating. So to do that now, we can copy this one from here. So let's go ahead and paste this one over here. So create a demarcation for it. So on this one now, we just have to bring back the this was not so this one now was not pasted as a pivot table. It was just pasted as normal table. So the reason for that is just because we did not select everything from the top here, right? So now let's do it again. So we can now go ahead and paste it. So we create that demarcation over here. So if we now right click here, we can now see this particular show field list. Then we can drag this particular one off it. So we're looking for rating. So we have agent rating here. If we drop our agent rating here, we take off this particular one. So we have the rating here. So the rating shows us is summarized. So what we can do now, we're going to show the average rating. That is all we need. So we do average, click OK. So this is what it gives us. So we can decide to just show this. So 4.3, 0.3, 0.2, all that. So this is the rating for every agent. So the next I'm going to create right now is the average call duration. So I can just go ahead and copy, paste it here, then take off this particular one. Then the call duration, you drag it over here. So if you look at it, it's going to give you something very huge. We don't want this. So you can right click and go to field settings. Oh no. Click over here. Then we do average. So we have the average right in here. Okay, now how do we go ahead and show this up? That is what's important now. So we quickly need to show here. I'm going to do selected agent. So here's my selected agent. I will do the same thing for this particular one. Selected agent. So here is my selected agent, right? So once I've gotten this done now, the next thing is for me to look at the average rating of this particular person here. So I will do XLOOKUP. So look up for this value. So you can find it over here. So once you find it, give me a match from here. So we have this. So we control 1, number, something like this. So over here, we do the same thing again. So we can do VLOOKUP here. We did XLOOKUP there. So the VLOOKUP looks for this. Inside here, return from second, column, 0, close, hit the enter key. So now you have this. You can come from here and reduce it. So it's going to take you just a little while. Okay, we have something like this right now. So I'm going to put a title here now. So the title should actually be, for title, you can use a function to create your delimiter. So I think that is text join. So text join now, we actually show our delimiter here with a space, comma, then skip blank. Now we reference this. I'm going to put a comma right here. So inside here, I'm going to do average customer rating. So we close and hit our enter key. Can you see it now? So if I want to use the same thing now, I can just copy. So I paste this over here, double click, come over here and remove this. Oh, it's even the same thing. We can use it, but nevertheless, we can just go ahead and match it up. So we can just come over here now. Average, instead of average color, we rather use average customer rating. We're going to use average call duration. Average call duration. So inside bracket, we do show that is in minutes. So here we go. We have something like this. So it is time for you to set this visualization. So all I need to do now, capture this. Go over here, close to the left-hand corner. So keep this around here. It's going behind, right click and bring to front. So when we bring to front now, we're going to set it to white. So here we go. We have this over here. So quickly, I want to match it up with what I have in here. So you can now go ahead and use something like this. So let's go with this. So I'm going to duplicate it and keep this one over here. Then we just need to go ahead and pick up this second one. So all I have to do is to click on this one and copy the same format on this one here. Okay, so now that we have this, if we change this now, it changes, but the values are not here. Let's go get it. So you can just duplicate the data of these ones here. So let's get for our average calls. So we go ahead and pick this one So you can make it a bit smaller. Let's go over here. So make it in white. So duplicate this, have this over here. Let's go pick it up. So you can click on this one and go ahead and match it up. You have to expand this, keep it somewhere around here. So we are done with this. So whenever we make any change here, we now see the average call duration is actually 19.7%. Okay, this is what we have. So let us now look at what are the products discussed on calls. So over here now, I'm going to do duplicate of this card and bring it up here. So let's go ahead and take off this. So now to make sure it's actually fit to the bottom, I'm going to just do this. Can you look at what I've done now? Then I'm going to select this particular one first. Then align to the left hand corner. Nicely done for me. So the next thing is for me to select it and select this particular one, and I'm going to align to the bottom. Nicely done. Then now I can click over here and create this particular spacing for it. So can you see what I have now? This is beautiful. Okay, the next thing now is for me to look at how we can actually bring in the chart here. So if we go back over to this particular part here now, you can now see that we have achieved this particular one, and as well we're able to bring in the rating and the customer call duration. So right now, this particular product discussed right now, I want to see which particular product we discuss, what is the success rate versus the failed one. So let's get back here quickly. So on this one now, we're going to go ahead and copy from here. Copy this one from here and paste it over here. So if you look at this particular demarcation I'm adding now, it helps me to separate it, like know what is standing or what is sitting on a particular column. I just love it though. So I wouldn't have everything in one single, whatever. So now once we have this now, so we're going to remove this particular one away from here. So we have this. So instead of me to show rating, I can just decide to remove this field from here and just go to my data, or even the caller ID. You can drag it here and default it to count. So now it's on count. So once we have this on count, the next thing we have to do is to make sure we some kind of format this without any decimal number. So here we go. So right away, we need to bring in product discussed into here. So we have this, right? So what is this particular blank for? Product discussed, we have blank. Let's go over here. Sorry, on the data path and look at the product discussed from here. So if you look at it, we have some blanks right here. So this particular blank has to do with abandoned. So which means there are no products, discussed because the calls were abandoned. So either the caller some kind of dropped before the agent picked it up, or maybe network issue or some kind of technical issues. So there is no discussion. So it's going to be blank. So that was how we got this particular blanks right here. So quickly, I'm going to come over here and remove it. Then click on OK. So once I've gotten this done now, we want to have it for success and fail. So we just have to do outcome. Then now we're going to make use of these particular filters. So I drop it on the filter area. So I'm going to click over here now and choose select multiple. Now success is selected. I'm going to just click on OK. Once I've done this right now, I want to do this for every single agent so that I can be able to some kind of come over here. If I make a selection, it will actually give me for a particular agent right here, right? So what do we do now? we can just go ahead and just pick up this particular one and drag it and put it at this particular part right here. So do you see that? So we have it split to this level. All right, once we have gotten this done now, the next thing I'm going to do is just to go ahead and copy. So Ctrl C. Then I'm going to paste this one over here. So it's just for me to go ahead and click on this one and disallow this one. If I select abandoned right now, abandoned is actually blank. Let's try it. So if I select and click on OK, there is nothing here. So for that, we don't have to do that. So we're going to just select failure here and click on OK. So now we have different values here. You can see what we have here for this particular person. All right. Once we have achieved this, the next thing right now is to look at how we can actually, switch between them whenever we make a selection of any of this particular, call agent or agent right here. So what do we do? The next thing now is for we to know which particular agent is being selected. So we put equal sign here, selected agent. This is it, Ray here. Okay, once we have this agent here now, we are going to I'm going to make it bold. So over here, I want to come over here and select this and drag this down. All right. So if you look at this particular setting I did from the start of the video, it's very important. So if I go over to this particular field settings right here, right now, and I click over layout and print. So I have to do this show item with no data. It's very important. We have to do this here, show item with no data. So we've done it. Let's go over here. Do show item with no data. It's very important. So show item with no data. So we do this one. So if I go over to somewhere around here, we have to do the same thing to this particular one. So show item with no data. So I want to make sure I do it for every part of it. So please do the same thing. Otherwise, you're going to have something weird. Right? So I think we're done. So let's just go back here now. We are right here. Now the agent selected is actually this particular agent right here. So what I'm going to do right now is going to be, let's bring this one down. So products discussed. So now we're going to make sure this one is actually a success. So this one is going to be failure, right? All right, so once we have gotten this, we have to fill up this and make it dynamic. The question is this: how do we go about it? So what we're going to do right now is to actually find the position of this particular, person here or agent here. So now I'm going to find position. The position is going to be equals, we have here filter. Don't forget this. If I hit my enter key, it gives me this 4. In case you don't understand how I got that, let's go to view and turn on the formula bar. So if I click over here and go to filter, it's going to jump me here. So this is where we actually got it created, right? So now going back here right now, we have this particular number here. Now over here for success, we're going to pick something from here. So for failure, we're going to pick something from here onto here. So if you look at it, if I go ahead and select, let's say Michael Page here, I go over here right now. So we have the position to be on 7. So we want to return the total success calls right in here for this particular page. So how do we do it? So we can use a function called offset to return column 7, right? So I would like to keep it simple. Let's go over to this particular first one here. So now here we have one. then we are going to return something from here. But because we're returning something from success, so we're going to take up this very one. So let's do it. So over here, I'm going to do offset. So with my offset, is asking for reference. That is the starting point. Here is the starting point here. So if I put a comma right now, you can see over here, the comma says row. So we have to give it how many rows do we want it to go down. So I want to skip this because I want to copy down. There is no point in me giving it the numbers of rows. So on that comma to skip it. Now for the column right now, we want to return something from the first column, which is going to be right here. Then we have to reference this. Now, because we're going to be copying down, we have to lock this down absolutely. F4 key. Now close and hit the enter key. Then let us go ahead and copy this down. So now we can verify to see if this is actually 100% correct. So going up right here right now, we have 1303392. So the same thing right in here, which means it's correct. But mind you, if I change to, let's say we go for this particular Liam. So, and I click over here. So let's see, Liam is actually sitting on column 8. Then let's see if that is true. So Liam now here is sitting on column 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So on 5. Can you see it now? On 5, which means there is some kind of, mixed up somewhere. So where is this particular mixed up coming from? Let me show you something. If I scroll to this end, this was what we copied. And if I right click over here, form control, then you can see I'm going to click on OK. Now go over here. This was what we copied to actually fill in that particular combo box. I'm going to copy it and scroll to this end here. Then paste it right here. So with this pasted here right now, if we try to count from here now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So this is sitting in row 8. Now, this particular one now, we retrieved something from row 8, but unfortunately, this is not going to give us the exact call agent. So let us try to look at which particular call agent is this. So if I go over here now, I'm going to do offset here. So with my offset, my reference now is going to be this very one here, not this electronics. So comma to skip the row. So for the column, I'm going to reference this. And if I hit my enter key now, do you see what I'm talking about? So we have a different person entirely. And what we want to return something from is this particular Liam right here. So how does it come here? So this particular one is on the row level. So the setup is different. So when we actually come to this particular part, there's a mixed up somewhere. So over here, if you look at this, it tallies with this particular one. So this drill clay is not actually second over here. Can you see now? It's now third over here. So how can we fix this in case we want to return something from this same thing here? It's very simple. So which means we're not going to use this particular number here. So what we can do right now is to generate a new number that we can actually use, which means a new position that we can actually use. So let me show you how to generate that. So over here, I'm going to do match function. So you understand what match function does. Match function does not return something from a particular column. What it does is to return the position of what you reference to it. So the match function is looking for the lookup value. So this one here, I'll now tell it to okay, you know what? Can you just help me go over here now and try to find the position of this. So put a comma 0 for the exact match, close, and hit the enter key. Now the position here for this particular person is actually 5. Do you understand that right now? So now while this one here is returning different position. We come over here, this one returns 4. So this particular array here is on the column level is sitting on 9 rather. So what we can do right now is to just double click on this one, and over here we can switch this to this one here. If I hit my enter key, now I should have the correct return right in here. So this might look a little bit, complex, but it is what it is. So over here, I'm going to show that this one does not give us what we want. So we're going to go for this particular one. I'll make it this green. Okay, this is the one we are using right now, not this one. This one is actually what this particular part here returned. So what we try to do right now, we try to get a new position of this particular array here, and the position where it is sitting is actually on 9, but over here it's sitting on the 4th position. So we can't use this to actually make that. So we have changed our mind to actually get a new position. Ordinarily, if we were to some kind of return what is sitting on this particular part here, is this particular Katrina here. So let us look at Katrina. Katrina is sitting almost on the 12th position over here. Do you get it right now? This is what it is. So I can actually go ahead and take this off. Now we have the correct version of it. So what I'm going to do right now is to get for failure, offset. So with the offset right now, I'm going to go ahead and say, here is my starting point, comma. For the row, skip it, return that comma. For the column, grab it. So F4 key, because we're going to copy down. So if I hit my enter key, I have this. You can just go ahead and copy it down. So if you want to verify if this is true right now, we have 1656515. So we have to look for array. So can you see it now? Check out what is here and compare it to what is sitting right here. So verify to see what you have. We have the exact number right now because we have actually given the actual match. So this is what you can do to actually have this done. For this particular one here, we don't need it. We can just go ahead and delete it from here. Okay, so now we're going to create our chart with this. So quickly, we have to make sure we have a comma separator right on this. Over here, I'm going to highlight here and select insert. Let's go over here. So I'm going to go with this particular, I think 100% stacked bar chart, something like this. Okay, so once I have this now, Control X to cut it. Over here, we can just go ahead and Control V to paste it down. So once pasted it here, once you have pasted it here now, I can double click to bring up this. Now let's take off the outline and the fill color. So now we can take off this particular percentage we have right here is not important. Then the title, we don't need it. We can just come over here and take off chart title. All right, so for the legend, I would like to move the legend to the top. So over here, click and move it to the top. So quickly, let us move it to where it should belong. So adjust it to make sure it fits right in here. Now you have to bring it down for a title to sit rightly. So once you have done that, click over here and take off this particular grid line. Now we have to go over here and make sure we have something like this, right? So we can keep, just put it up a little bit. Okay. All right, so we have something like this. For the success, we want to change the success to match this particular color right here. So we go over here. Now you select success alone. Then we click over here. We go over here. This is border, fill color. For the fill color, we want to go with this particular kind of green. Now for this one, we're going to use a more of gray color. So let's go ahead and choose to use something like this. Now failure, success. So let's try to see So go to view. Now click and apply the data labels. So we have to make sure we change this to white. So click on this one, apply the same data label to it. So white will look better. Okay, so we can just increase it so that it can show up very well. So we increase this. So here we go, we have something like this. So whenever I make a selection here, you can see here. So if I select this particular first one, it's highlighted here. So here we have 40,000 calls on this particular call agent. But as you can see, most of the calls, failed, are on the failure part. So only 20% of it got converted. So by the time I select maybe this person here right now that has just 6,000, that the conversion is not really much as well. So we can search for this. Now we have a lot of conversion, just 4,000. And if you can look at what we have here right now, we have a lot of success going on here. Can you see this now? Okay, 80% or 89%, and you can see travel package, numbers of success, loan, numbers of success, and internet package, numbers of success, insurance, followed by electronics. I think we have more success on the internet package right here than any of it, right? Okay, now what is next is to make sure we have the title. So I'm going to just go ahead and duplicate this, bring it over here. Let's go here now. So we can type in title. So over here now we can do equals. I'm thinking I can just make a reference of this. Ole. Let's come over here. So I want to go ahead and turn on the formula bar. So put an equal sign here. Let's go ahead and pick it up. So here we go. So now I'm going to just give it the same format. Okay. So I want to make sure it floats to this end here. So once I've done this now, I can click on this and just let's click on this one and click on this one again. So you have to aim and just drag it down a little bit. Drag it down a little bit like this. This is good. This is good. So we want to create a space to have something else here. So over here now, I can type in, so Katrina product on calls. Okay, once I've gotten this done now, you can just go ahead and just reduce this, something like this. So we have this. So whenever there's any changes here, it actually changes to this, and this is what we have. Okay, now we need to get this again, Ctrl-D to duplicate and bring this over here. So quickly, I always love to just bring it down and go over here and resize it. So and some kind of match it with this particular, part here. What we need to do right now is just to make sure we set some kind of height and weight for this one here. It's very important. So click on this one, go over here. Let's go over here. So 2.17. So I want to do that by what? By 3.23. This is what we have. So I'm going to keep it somewhere around here. So now this space here should be equals to this one. So what I'm going to do now is to hold my control key and select this particular one, then go to the top, align top. So here we go. So once I've done that right now, quickly I'm going to duplicate again and bring this one all the way down here. So I'm going to hold my control key. Now we just align this one to the bottom. Beautiful. So release it. So we align this, we just do this one to the right hand corner, left hand corner. Beautiful, right? So now we select and we just make sure we have this space here. So now let us build all of this here. I'm going to just go ahead and some kind of Ctrl D, and this one should come over here. So this time around, I'm going to keep this one over here. Hold my control key by selecting this as well. Now we align to the top. Once done, select this one and select this very one here. So we're going to align this one to the right hand corner rather. That is beautiful. Now for this particular space we have right here, we have to just close it a little bit. So we have to close it, something like this. Now I'm going to bring this one all the way down. Nicely done. So what I'm going to do right now is that I want to have this particular kind of effect right on this. So I will click on this one, go over here, home, this particular format painter. Now I'm going to select this one. Okay, so sorry, I think I did the wrong thing. If I have to do that, it has to be this one. Click on this one. Now click on this one, click over here. So you have something like this. You might want to make this particular part to be a little bit darker than what it is right now. So to get that done, Ctrl 1. So I can move this one anywhere I like. Here we go. So now we have to make sure we select a darker version of it. Let's go with this. So I'm going to just move this one. Then it's going to create an effect like this for me. I love something like this. But what if we just make it a little bit, shift it this way? All right, so if we want to have something like this, so be it. So this is looking good already. Over here right now, what we want to analyze is to analyze the reason why calls were dropped, abandoned, wherever it is. So we go over here now. So all I'm going to do is just some kind of select this particular area, right? So Ctrl C to copy. You can see how I did my selection, right? So copy everything from here. Once you've done that, you just have to go all the way here. So I'm going to paste it right in here, then create a demarcation, right? So now what is next? The next thing I'm going to do right now is this. Don't worry about this when it gives you an error. So it's to click on this one now and right click. Let's go field settings. I'm going to take off this one, then bring it's called reason. We call abandoned reason. Here we go. So drag it and put it right here. So we have this for every single agent, right? So now how do we make use of this? So over here now, I don't want to go for failure. I might want to take off this particular part here. Oh, we have to bring it back. This one, I'm thinking of something. Yeah, if we say reason for call drop, reason. Okay, we don't need to have this particular one here. So we take it off. But when we take it off right now, what we're going to have is this particular part here. So what is this blank for? This blank means those particular calls were picked. Those calls were successful, right? So what you can do now is just to filter away this particular one and click on OK. So there is something you shouldn't forget. Right click here, go to field settings, click over here, and always make sure this one is actually checked. So you have to do this for every part of your work. So the reason why we're doing this is if there is a filter that actually filtered your dashboard and this particular loan does not have any data, it's going to filter it away and you're going to have wrong chart. So for that, you just have to do this every single time. So here we go. Right click and do the same thing to this very one here. Okay, once we are done now, let's go back here now. So over here, we're going to take off this particular part. So now we're going to look for this. How do we do that? We use match. Match helps us to look for this, and we're just going to say from here 0 for exact match, then go ahead and close. So 8, right? So on this particular part here, we have to do offset. So equals offset. So with the offset right now, the reference should actually be this particular one here, comma. So for rows, we don't want to give it rows, so comma to skip it. Now for the column right now, we want to say, okay, for the column, this, and F4 key to lock it down. We can go ahead and close and hit our enter key. So we have 13. If I just copy this down right now, we have something like this. So here we go. It retrieves something from here for us. I believe you understood when we actually explained this particular 5 right here. 5 is actually what is coming out from here, right? So, but we have to match it to give us the right position where this particular name right here, this Liam, is sitting. So the position is currently 5, not 8. Also, it is 8 for the previous one we have created, but right now it's 5, right? Okay, if we have done this now, the next thing we have to do is to create a chart with this. Let's go over here, insert. And now we have to create this particular kind of chart. By clicking over here, we go with this one. So quickly, we can do Ctrl X to cut it off from here. And now, Ctrl V to paste it down. And we resize it, adjust it until it meets up what you really want over here. So we don't want to have some of the axes we have right here. Sorry, the title, the gray lines. We don't want it. So over here, I'm going to Ctrl 1, then. So next now is just for we to, let's select this particular color for it. Okay, if we have gotten this now, we don't need to have this axis right in here. So the next thing we have to do is to turn on the data label. It's very important. So here we go. It changes. So we just have to bring this down, bring it down. So we click on this one and we double it. We bring this over here. So this one we have the outline and the fill color. So I want to take it off. Okay, so you can save your work. So it's very important. All right, right now what is left is for we to have a dynamic title for this. The title here is not what it should be. So how do we have a dynamic title? Let's go over here now. So right here, you can just type in title. Okay, so for our title now, we want to say here equals inside double quotes reasons why. So now we concatenate this here. So inside double quotes calls. So we hit our enter key. So reason why Ray abandoned calls. So we just have to go over here. So we just need to bring up view and select this area. Click over here. Then we go ahead and do this. So now just have to make sure it sits right here. So select this one. Now let's go ahead and so if you look at it, it cuts off. So what we can do now is just to do something like this. So I'm going to bring this one down. Okay. So can you see what we have now? This is what we need to have right here. So it's okay. Now we want to create a line chart. So this line chart will actually give us the trend line. This line chart is going to be something that you have to watch and learn how you can create something like this. Let's do it. So we go all the way back to analysis again. This time around, I'm just going to copy this particular. Should I copy everything? Yeah, let's copy everything again. So we've copied everything. We move to this area. Paste it over here. So create a margin between them. Okay, so once we have done this now, it'll be easier now because we're going to have 12 months. So now this is not going to be cool. So I want to take this one down a little bit down so we can bring it up a bit after all. So now if we are here, we just have to right click and go to field settings. Now we'll take off this. So we have our date here, date of the calls. We need to bring the date of the calls right in here. So here it says this already, there is already data in. Do you want to replace it? I'm thinking of something. So let us take off everything from here. Take off everything. Okay. Now what we need to do now is to bring in our date in here. So have I used any date before now? I'm trying to look at that. So we have not. So if something like this happens, let's say I drag this one in here and it's asking me this now to replace something. I don't want to replace. Okay, maybe it was because it's seen something here. I can wipe off everything from here. Right, once I've done that, I can just go ahead and bring this here. So now, what happened was because I'm going to Control Z to bring this back. So what happened was because it sensed that something was beneath here. This is something you have to understand. When a pivot table senses that there's some maybe data or pivot table beneath it, it will not actually create for you. It will be asking you if you want to replace what is beneath it, specifically if it is going to actually interfere with all of this, right? So let us see how we can do without taking it off. So put it right here, then click on OK. So now it does not touch here, so nothing happens. What we want here is just the month, so we can just go ahead and get the date off. So we have the month. Then I'm going to bring in my full name into here. Now I'm bringing the full name back here again. So now we have the count of it. This is what we want. So can I go over here and bring this up. So here we go. Right away, I have to make sure I drag this until I have my December. So now, once we have gotten this done, the next thing we have to do now is to actually get in the values. So here is going to be calls. So this calls now, we have to do what we have done before. It's something very easy. So we do the same offset again. The offset takes this as a reference, comma. So for the row, comma, we actually skip it. For the column, pick this one, then F4 key to lock it down. We close and hit our enter key. Now we have this. So to test out this now, if it is correct, I'm just going to select this particular first one. Let's go over here, select this one. So we should have the same thing here, specifically this particular path. If you look at it now, we have 3429, 3429, 3136, 3136 over here. So which means it's correct 100%. This is exactly what we want. Okay, make it bold. All right, if we have gotten this done now, what is next? The next thing now is that we want to actually highlight, the month with the highest value, and as well highlight the month with the lowest value. So on a line chart, how can we easily do that? So that's going to be a little bit weird, right? If you don't know how to do it, you might be thinking it's not possible. So what I'm going to do right now is going to be here, max call and mean call. All right, so once I've done this now to create a highlight, the first thing I'm going to do now is to just do this, right? And create my first line chart here. So I can leave, Excel to suggest for me. So here, correct. So go ahead and grab this. So here is your line chart here. So now if you look at it now, nobody can tell where the max falls to. So if I do this line, I think I can. So the max falls here and the mean falls right in here. So I want to stop people from guessing where the max falls to, because right now this here is actually the max area, and the mean area is this particular one. So how can we make a dynamic, selection of the max and the mean like this? That is exactly what we're about to do, right? So the next thing I have to do right now is that I want to just right click and so change chart type, click over here. Let's go with this one. Click on OK. So we go with this one. That is nice. So let me just move it over here. Now we have to find the max. To find the max right now is something very easy. So we just want to say if. So we're asking question right now. If this particular value here is equals what? Is equals max. So first of all, let us look at what the max does. The max function helps us to retrieve the max value from this particular range right here, which is this one, right? So the if function is now asking if this particular one is equals this here. So what I want you to do now, we log this one up. So we want you to return this, otherwise return blank like this and hit your enter key. Now we can go ahead and copy this down. So it finds where it is equals. This is it here. So instead of us to be doing this, we can actually combine everything together. This works 100%. Let us do for mean in a different way. So now we're going to ask now if this one here is equals. So we type in our mean here, mean. So what is the mean? To find the mean now, the mean is going to be in the midst of this list of numbers. So we have to lock it down with our F4 key. Then once we have done that, now we close and put a comma and say if that is true, return something from here, otherwise give me blank. So if I go ahead and actually do this now, so here the mean falls right in here. So this is dynamic. If I go ahead and change for this person now, so you can see here, the mean has changed and the max has changed as well. So do you see this now? So this is what you can do. So over here now, I can just go ahead and some kind of, go ahead and can you see it now? I have just selected and make sure this place gets the mean and the max. Control Z, and that way to do it now, if I Control Z now, is to bring this up. So now I'm going to right click here and go to select data. So over here, I'm going to do add. So with my add now, I want to add max calls. So go ahead and take off everything from here and select this particular environment here. Once done now, you're going to have this. So click on OK. Then you can click on add again. So once done, mean call. So we take off this one and we select this particular environment here. Then we click on OK. Then finally we click on OK. But if you look at it now, this is not cool. Something is wrong with this. So why are we having this particular, underline, this particular line here? So that was because this one's here, they are zeros, even though while we try not to show anything right here. So what do we do? What if we try to ignore this one? Oh, I think that is not going to work. The only way we can solve the situation to avoid this particular one from coming up now is to make sure we use NA. So here, NA. So we use NA, we close, hit our enter key. Now we drag this down. So one has disappeared, we only have it right here. So we repeat the same thing, and this particular gray color will disappear. So here we go ahead and put NA at where we have this particular double quotes, NA. So we close and hit our enter key. Now if we copy down halfway, can you see? Part of it has gone. Then if we double click, now we only have this highlighted and this one highlighted. All right, this is all we need to do right in here for now. Let's cut it and take it up to this particular path here. So we're here now. We can keep this around here. So for this particular part, I don't need to keep this. I'm going to take it off. Or you can come over here and take off the grid lines. Over here, click and take off the vertical line. So if you look at it now, we are good to go. So we have this, but this is not really giving us what it is that we want to see. What can I do now? I want to actually have max call and the value, min call and the value as well. And I want to actually beautify this particular part right here. So maybe what I can do right now is to just do something like this to make sure you can see it better. So once we have this done now, we can go ahead and change the selection. So let's see here. Okay, now we have nice trend here, nice trend in here. So Control-1 now, come over here. We can go down. We choose to use this particular smooth line. I love it. So once we have gotten this done now, so our focus is going to be on this particular highest value here. So for the highest value, we want to change the color. Let's go over here. Let's change the color to this particular one. So what we have changed now is the line color. So for the fill color, we want, I think, no, it doesn't work. So click back on it again. So once we have done that now, click over here and let's go to the marker. While we are on the marker, we want to take off the fill. No fill for it. No fill for the marker. So now we go down. For the outline, we increase this one. So let us remember what we are increasing this one by. So let us increase this one by just 2 points. Okay, maybe we'll make it like 5 points here. So this is the border. So if I step off it now, I have this here. So now we have to select again. So we go over here, we go to this particular part here. So there is no fill for it. Now, once we have selected our border, we can go all the way down here. Where is this smooth line, of course. So let us reduce the border a little bit. I think I'm missing something. So we have to go to marker here. So while we are on the marker, we click on this particular marker option here. So we choose to actually have this on 12. So 12. So it depends on what you really want. I'm going to have this on 12. So if this is on 12, this is okay. So I want to change the color. I'll go down here and change its color to this very one here. Nicely done, right? So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to click on this one. And this one here is the lowest one. I want it to be on this color. So we want to go over here and make sure it's on 12 as well. So once it's on 12, we click back and say no fill. Can you see it now? So when there is no fill, we go all the way down for the border, put the border on 5. Okay, what did we use here? I think we are using not 5, I think 2 point something, 2.5. So I want to leave it on this particular gray, which depicts low, right? So on this particular one now, what we can do is just to say here, no fill, no border. If I step off it now, it looks like this. I only highlight this particular part. But if you want to keep border right on it, you can come over here now. So you go over to line, you go over to marker, and you select solid, here, right? So we can make it to be some kind of very thin like this here. So can you see this now? So let us take it back to this thing here. Resize it back to 100. Okay, this is how it looks. So this is going to be the change when we decide to make a change here now. We can see it has changed to here. Unfortunately, this we apply to it is solely on its particular selection. So how do we make sure we correct this now? Just click on it once. Let's correct it here. So we want to go over here now and come down straight up to this particular marker here. So under marker option, so we want to select 12. So once that is done, we want to come here now and make sure we are choosing this color. So now we go over to this one and we choose to use 2.5. So now let's change it. So anywhere we choose to select it, so we don't have that particular place highlighted for us. But this is not all we can do. We need to add data label on it. So how do we do that? We can click on it now and go over here and turn on data label for it. So if I click over here now, I can open more options. So over here, we can decide to say we want it to be above or below. So now it's on below. So I love it on below, and I would like to match the color with this particular color here, which is already on it. So we can make it bold, just make it bold, right? So once we have done that right now, the next thing I'm going to do now is to actually bring in the series name. So main call. So the main call has a comma. I don't want the comma. Come over here, choose new line. So here we go. So do the same thing to this particular one here. So go ahead and turn on the data label. Sorry, this, what did I do? Oh no. So Ctrl Z to bring it back. Okay. Now you want to make sure you aim this particular one. Data label, only for that one. Then for the data label now, click on it and make sure you make it bold. And you select this particular same color for it if that is what you want. So select the darker one. Then once I've done that now, I want to go over to here. So Ctrl 1. So now selected, over here, we go ahead and select this particular one, the numbers. So click over here. So choose new line. So we have something like this. So now we have to make sure we click on this, no fill and no border. So if we step off it now, we have something like this. For this one now, we want to make sure we select it to be black or gray, whatever. Something like this. It's cool. So here we go. if I just go ahead and decide to deselect this now, so this is what we have. So we can now see every single month what a trend looks like. So we have the month where he has the mean calls and the max call as well. So here we go. This is what we want. I want to go ahead and do Ctrl+1 and make sure this one's above. So yeah, it's under above. So right. So let us go with the above right here. So once we have done this now, the next thing we have to do is to actually bring in what? The title right in here. So what shall we have right here? So we go all the way back to here, and instead of us to look at this, so here will be equals this monthly call trend. You see this now? So we come over here, we turn on this particular formula bar. Now we're going to go ahead and choose our new title. Apply the same formatting. So whenever I make a change here, so what happened? Okay, now refreshed. So everything works perfectly okay. So now, as you can see, if I go ahead and start to do this now, so my chart, updates automatically. This is what we have. So I want to make sure I make this a bit smaller to show everything. So now this is what we have. So don't forget to save your work. Is very, very important. So if this is not showing everything, you can just click on it and try to drag it up to make it go above a little bit. Or you can just go ahead and take this up, click on this one and bring this down. Can you see it now? It gives rooms to this particular part to show up very well. And over here now, we're good to go.